It finally leaked as GM Patrik Allvin addresses the future on an unsung Canucks hero in a time where the Canucks are more proactive than ever with signings, with many reasons to do so, and I think Canucks fans can deduce the biggest reason why. We're going to break down all that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first, if you want to help us on our journey to hit 8,000 subscribers before the 8th month of the year in August, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of the updates as they drop. And with that, let's hop right into it, which is proactively planning. So last summer, the Canucks signing of winger Kiefer Sherwood drew little fanfare. After all, he was a fourth line signing on the opening day of free agency, where over 100 contracts were handed out. So like many, he was a bit of an afterthought. It was a huge free agency last year. But all of that changed fairly quickly as the 30-year-old wound up playing his way higher up the depth chart while having a career year, as was very common with this Canucks team, entering the second and final season of the 2-year, $3 million contract he signed last summer. Sherwood is now extension eligible. In a recent appearance on Sportsnet 650, GM Patrik Allvin indicated that he has had preliminary discussions about a contract extension with Sherwood's camp. And the full quote is going to be right here, saying that we started to have early conversations with Kiefer's agent. It's well here, and we'll see where it goes. He was really good for us last year, an effective player, and looking forward to seeing him in action this year. Now, obviously, if you guys have been watching the channel long enough, you guys have been seeing me say for quite some time now that last offseason, no matter what the player, what the contract signing was, Kiefer Sherwood was the best free agency signing in the NHL last season, not just for the Vancouver Canucks, because looking at the price tag that they got him for and the impact that he made on this team is absolutely insane, and probably the biggest steal in free agency in maybe the last decade as far as the price tag they got him for and what he was able to bring to this Canucks team. And Sherwood has only been in an NHL regular for the last 2 seasons. In 23-24, he secured a full-time spot on Nashville's roster and put up 27 points while playing exclusively in their bottom 6, where he notched 234 hits. That helped him secure a 7-figure contract last summer for the first time. And that 234 hits we're going to get to in a second as well, where last season Sherwood certainly improved on those numbers. In 78 games, he potted 19 goals, 21 assists, while seeing his playing time jump to nearly 15 minutes a night, all career highs, and was a top 10 scorer on this Canucks team and potentially making a case for top 5 at times. Meanwhile, on the physicality side, not only did he shatter his personal best in that regard, but he also set a new NHL record in that category with 462, a big jump from the 234, almost double what he had the year before. The previous record was set by Nashville's Jeremy Lauzon in 23-24 with 383, and he was traded to Vegas late last month. So Kiefer Sherwood is coming off of a massive year. This is nothing new that we've seen when it comes to Vancouver Canucks, who have been kind of cast off or not really considered as much of a big player as some other players in the league have been. But we look at Conor Garland, how he broke out from Phoenix all the way into Vancouver and just has really excelled. He's got an extension. Kiefer Sherwood, he's been playing his ass off and been having a career year. He could be in line for an extension. Kevin Lankinen, he played his ass off since he got here. He got an extension. Thatcher Demko. There's been so many players that have had career years. Brock Boeser came off of a career year 2 years ago. He just got an extension. Elias Pettersson also was coming off of a career year and got an extension. So there is so many things with Vancouver where they're just pulling career years out of guys left, right, and center. And now it's just a matter of getting it all clicking together at the same time. And when we look at the other players that are looking at where, or similar to Kiefer Sherwood, where we look at Will Cooley, Marcus Foligno, Matthew Olivier, and Eli Tolvanen, where the pay is very similar, and he is the best paying one on there at $1.5 million on the 2-year deal. But then as well, you look at the age, he's one of the oldest guys on the list. He's the second oldest guy. He notched 78 games, had 19 goals, so he was third in goals on that list. And then when you look at 40 points as well, that was good enough to be second as far as those guys. One of the highest ice times and shots on goal, he finished with second of those, and of course with hits, leading that pack in all of that. So we look at those guys and you look at what Cooley just signed as a 2-year deal with $3.9 million a year with the New York Rangers this offseason. Sherwood trails Cooley by 1 goal, 5 points, 12 seconds of average on ice time, and 11 shots on goal, but in 4 more games. The big discrepancy would be the hit category, where Sherwood threw 161 more hits than Cooley. However, with the 7-year age gap between the two, Sherwood is likely to come in at a smaller AAV cycle. So I really like that for Kiefer Sherwood and the Canucks, because as a result of his age, the Canucks can save a little bit of dollars here, but still, he is defying that age curve like we've seen so many Vancouver Canucks do. We saw JT Miller do that when he was with Vancouver. We saw the Sedins do it. We saw Marcus Naslund do it. We saw Brock Boeser do it. And now we saw Kiefer Sherwood do it, where he was able to have a career year, even though he's past what many would call the hump as it pertains to hockey players, where around the 28, 29 age range, they tend to hit a bit of a fall off. Not in the case with a lot of older Canucks players, and Kiefer Sherwood is no exception to that as well. And given that he still has a fairly limited track record, forecasting extension becomes a little tricky. At first glance, the 4-year, $12 million contract given to Dakota Joshua last summer seems like a reasonable approximation. While the salary cap is higher now, Joshua is a little younger and plays center, the more premium position, which could arguably offset the cap increase to a degree. His camp could plausibly argue that the 5-year, $17 million pact that Boston gave to Tanner Jeannot would be fair. Meanwhile, AFP Analytics projects a 3-year pact around $2.65 million per season. Regardless, Sherwood is well positioned for a raise and a longer-term agreement than he's ever had, and he is absolutely in line for a massive bag. Honestly, Kiefer Sherwood, with the way that he was playing and what he meant to this team, give him $3 million a year. Whether you want to give him 3x4 or 4x3, whether it's going to be 3x3, I think $3 million is a really good baseline to at least start the negotiations with Kiefer Sherwood. And it's awesome to hear that the Canucks are at least considering it. They're very close in those. They're in those early conversations at least, and they're trying to get it done. And obviously, we all know what the biggest reason is. It's not because of depth. Obviously, you want to make sure you have a well-rounded team, of course, but also Quinn Hughes. That is the major thing with all of this, with every single signing, every single move that the Canucks have made, whether it's at the AHL level, at the NHL level. It is all to make sure that Quinn Hughes stays in Vancouver. You go out and you sign Thatcher Demko and Conor Garland a year early. That's a very big sign that you're showing to Quinn Hughes, hey, those guys that your Vezina caliber goalie and one of your best goal scorers and one of your fastest guys that's on the ice, those guys aren't going anywhere. Brock Boeser, one of your longtime teammates, he's not going anywhere. We made sure that he stayed, and especially on a UFA year where he could have gone anywhere, and he chose to stay in Vancouver with what we offered him. So that goes to show, hey, not only are we locking down guys that you have a lot of great chemistry with, they are also wanting to stay in Vancouver. Thatcher Demko, we covered it recently where he said that he wants to spend the rest of his career in Vancouver. He would have signed for 20 years if he could. Conor Garland, he's been very excited about staying in Vancouver. He always wanted to stay in Vancouver. All the chatter and the noise that was created about him potentially going to Philly, that is all gone now, at least for the next couple of years. We have Brock Boeser for more years. We got a few other signings that we made along the way, and as well as Manny Malhotra kind of waiting in the wings while Adam Foote is also at the helm, where Manny can develop these guys, where if Adam Foote is a long-term solution, fantastic. But if Manny Malhotra is eventually the future after they move on from Adam Foote and they still have Quinn Hughes there, then all these rookies like Atu Ratu, Jonathan Lekkerimaki, Max Sasson, or some other guys as well, Archer Sheloves, if he's still around, and some other ones, Linus Karlsson, that's another big one as well, Archie Baines if he makes that jump. All those guys, if they make that jump to the NHL roster, by the time that Manny gets there, they will already have Manny's trust, and it'll be a lot easier to swing the trust of the vets, especially Quinn Hughes, if he signs a massive deal. And a lot of this as well with some of the things that we're seeing with the reports of Teddy Bluger, Dakota Joshua being on the trade block, a lot of that could also be the Canucks are trying to clear up some space to go out and make a big signing with Quinn Hughes before that contract even gets close to being expired, so that they can make sure he's locked down and it doesn't become a narrative like it would have became if they did not go out and sign Thatcher Demko and Conor Garland a year early, just like we saw how the narrative was very loud around Brock Boeser all last season. So the Canucks are probably wanting to avoid any of that going forward. So what do? They went down, they locked down core members of this team to show Quinn Hughes, hey, we're trying to keep as much of the gang together as we can to make sure that you are happy and that this team can stay competitive and stay winning. But what do you guys think about all this? Do you guys think all these signings are a result to keep Quinn Hughes there? Or do you think that there is mainly the other motivation of just making sure you have the best all-around depth in the pieces around you? And what do you think about Patrik Allvin getting Kiefer Sherwood locked down? And what would you give him? That is the main question I want to ask you guys. You hear what I was saying. I was saying 4x3, 3x3, maybe 3x3.5. Who knows? What would you guys give Kiefer Sherwood because of what he brings to this Canucks team? I know he's a bit older. 30 plus is a lot of money, and $3 million is a lot to give a guy. However, with the amount of hits that he's bringing, he's an absolute bull. He's scoring goals as well, and he gets better each year from the past 2 years. So we could see a massive increase as well in his production from hits somehow, and as well as goal scoring. So what do you guys think about all that? Let us know down in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss a single episode. But with that, I've been your host, Griffin. Take care.